So I want to thank everybody for being here. This is very important because our life is very different. In 3 months, the whole game changed. And again, this is about unity. So I'd like to read something to you, a little bit about unity. This is a speech from Martin Luther King. I have a dream. August 23rd, 1963. This is just parts of it. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. And again, please buy a t-shirt. We're uniting for peace and to restore freedom, and do what you can to support Occupy Peace. And I also want to thank Neil Anderson, may his soul rest in peace, for donating to make this possible. So please do what you can. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of the Republic wrote that magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on those promissory notes insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring the sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we have come to cash this check, a check that will give us, upon demand, the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hollow spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or taking that tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make the real promise of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlight path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all God's children. And that's what we are. We are all God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. And the urgency of that moment is right now. The sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. But there is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads to the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst of freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic height of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead to destruct all the white people, for many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. And they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live to the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering in the heat of injustice, sweltering in the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream today. This will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, "My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring." Let freedom ring. We are all here together as brothers and sisters. We all love each other and what this country has given us. And we must unite. We must unite for peace and to restore our freedom, which has been stolen from us. And among the speakers we're going to have Father Reverend Kevin Robinson of St. Anthony Padua Church, who's suing Governor Murphy. Over the governor's stay-at-home directive, alleging in a new federal lawsuit that the state's prohibition of religious services during the coronavirus outbreak violates the U.S. Constitution. And just 2 days ago, the governor of California declared no singing at church. No singing at church. We also have Amanda that will be speaking here today about, are they going to force us to get vaccinated, or are we going to be free? And the special, I am so honored, as we all are, Judge Andrew Napolitano, our paisano, from Fox News, a man that speaks for freedom, justice, and the American way, a judge that nobody sways. He speaks the truth about the Constitution, and that's what he's going to be talking about now, our Bill of Rights and what has been robbed from us.